Buongiorno a tutti, or ciao ragazzi. I don't know which one's better, to be honest. I've been told my greetings uh, aren't Italian accurate. Ciao ragazzi is probably a little bit better, um, but or like more common. Hi guys is what that means. Um, but I've also noticed my Italian. I've just lost it. I don't understand. My pronunciation, trying to figure out like the few words that I know. It's really been a struggle. I I don't know where it's gone. I leave for a year, I come back, and I can't. You know, I don't know. And what the 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 most obvious way is in the grazie, right? So it's not grazie, right? It's grazie, right? Grazie. I'm exaggerating it a bit, but there's an e at the end of it. It's grazie, right? Um, and I'm not even really sure whether that came out right. um, but the thing is, like, that's thank you, by the way. And I got used to saying it regularly over and over, and because you're being polite, grazie, grazie, uh, and uh, and yeah, I've really been struggling to do that. And a couple people have corrected me. Like I've been grazie, and they're like grazie, and I'm like, oh right, but that's kind of one of those things, right? Like you just kind of learn like those little subtleties, and yeah, you lose that. And then of course, when I was in Spain for a month, I kept saying grazie, grazie, and they're like, what? I'm like, oh, gracias, gracias, gracias. And they're like, yeah, this isn't Italy, buddy, you know. So I got used to saying that, and then coming back here, there I started gracias, gracias, and they're like, what are you doing? This isn't Spain, man. Look, it's St. Pete's. This is Italy. So I'm trying. Actually, I'll step out here because that you could see that little dot of St. Pete's a little bit better. Um, so yeah, I'm trying. I'm putting a little bit more effort in, and I'm trying to pronounce things a little bit more if I can. Um, which of course I got the opportunity today. Today was kind of an open day. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I decided to test the metro. Because, I mean, normally I like staying like right downtown so that I'm like, moments away from all the touristy kind of spots, so that I really don't have an excuse to stay home. Um, but for various reasons, which might even become clear in a week, I've stayed a little bit further out. Like I'm northwest of the Vatican, so if I were to walk to the like downtown where the Forum is, where the Altar of the Fatherland, the Colosseum, that takes me about 45 minutes if I were to walk, maybe a little longer. But it's a 25-minute subway ride, so that I decided to test out today. But I also wanted to do, or specifically another goal that I wanted was, if you remember the video that I made a little while back about the differences between, a cathedral and a basilica and that. And I mentioned that technically all of the basilicas are minor basilicas, according to the Catholic Church, except for four. There's four major basilicas. Of course, they're all in Rome. And I figured I should, visit them. One of them obviously is St. Pete's, which I will definitely get to um, soon enough. So today's major basilica was a Basilica Papale di Santa Maria Maggiore, or Maria Maggiore. And it's a phenomenal space. And not really being an expert in Catholicism or, um, the Vatican and all that kind of stuff. I never really, I didn't really know a lot about any of these major basilicas or anything. That was all research that I did out of curiosity because I was, you know, well, I was just curious. What is a basilica and all that? So I didn't really know about that, but of course, Rome is just full of churches, full of basilicas, full of like these really really pretty places, and this holds up. I'll tell you, the roof. Oh my God, it is amazing, and just visiting that space was just so nice. And you know, it's actually been a little while since I've been, maybe since like visiting like Florence and you know, in Palermo with Monreale and some of the major basilicas there, like the really like outrageously decorated ones. And this is another one of those, right? Like it's beautiful on the outside. It's huge. The 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 back of the church actually looks a lot fancier and nicer than the front, in my opinion, because that's where you get to see the domes and stuff, right? So, and of course, I lit a candle for Nancy, um, and I'm gonna keep doing that. I think I've mentioned that before. But so a couple of people have asked about how those automatic candles work, and basically, it's probably a smart idea. Decreases the fire hazard, but basically they're just electric lights, and you drop a coin in, and one of the lights pops up. Some of them are fancy. You can choose your candle, but um, you know, I just let it go random. So my second stop this morning was a real treat. Part of the bucket list kind of stuff that I like doing. And that was, I stopped by the Basilica di San Pietro in Vincoli. Basilica di San Pietro in Vincoli. I think I got that one. So this basilica is known for having the tomb of Pope Julius II. Now, he was a bit of a war-fighting pope back in the day, the early 1500s, and but he's more known for being the person who commissioned like a bunch of masterpieces, as it turns out, from Bernini and Raphael, and of course the master Michelangelo. He Michelangelo he asked Michelangelo to do the Sistine Chapel, which, as the story goes, Michelangelo is a sculptor. He was asked to paint the Sistine Chapel. It would be like a huge extended project. He wasn't really interested in doing that. But Julius also asked Michelangelo to build a tomb for him. And of course, Michelangelo created this elaborate plan, and it took him like 30 years uh, long after Julius's death. So they wound up burying Julius in St. Peter's, but his tomb is actually in this church, right? It's kind of an interesting thing. But the tomb, or at least the sculptures that go along with the tomb, oh boy, it is Moses. It's technically the tomb of Julius, but it's known to be the statue of Moses, and it's an amazing work. If you've ever seen David or anything that Michelangelo has done, you'll know that he's known for like anatomical details, right? Like the muscles, the veins, the realistic hands, and of course idealized physical stature and all that. But and the facial expressions. You know, if you ever go see David, don't just look at it head on. Go to the side and see his real facial expression. That's really what makes that sculpture genius. Um, and so too, Moses has an expression, and in this case, it's mainly interpreted as anger, as contempt, and even though he's sitting on a throne, um, the the idea is that this was a Moses coming down from the mountain, seeing people, praising other gods, thinking Moses wasn't going to come back, and so he's very angry, and that's when he, um, uh, starts throwing things and everything. But the statue itself has that angered expression, and it's not just anger or anything. He's looking at the side, and it's contempt. It's supposed to be Moses disapproving, contempt, judgment. But of course, now it sits there judging the tourists and art lovers, right, that come by. And it's up to them to interpret, the situation. It's up to them to decide what he's judging you on. What it's kind of a Rorschach test, right? But for me, it was a great opportunity to see another great work. Cross another one off the bucket list and everything. And I just and being able to say, like, I had the privilege of seeing this up close and spending some time looking at it. I'm very lucky. This is where I would say grazie, grazie, and maybe Moses would disapprove of my pronunciation. Anyway, so that was my day. That was my morning. It's a work day, so I had to come back and put in a day's worth of work. And now I've got the evening to myself. And I did try to. The other thing I kind of tried to do is, you noticed in my video yesterday, I caught the flyover with the jets. They've been doing that for the last 3 days, and I thought today maybe they were just doing it like for a week or something. So I went down to the altar of the fatherland, and I situated myself there for noon, and just sat there waiting. And then they didn't show up. So I was like, oh, okay. So if they do it tomorrow, I'm gonna be mad. What can you do? Anyway, I hope you all are doing well. I'm clearly doing well, having a great time in Rome, loving my view off my balcony. I hope you are planning your own adventures, and if there's any way I can help, please let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Would really, really help me out. But as always, I love your comments and your likes and any attention, really. I really appreciate it. Just knowing you guys are watching is really makes me happy. Thank you. So with that said, there'll be another video tomorrow. So arrivederci, or ciao, whichever you prefer. Good night, everyone. Pastry of the day. Yay. So today is a bit weird or this offering is a bit weird because I got a little flustered at the pastry shop, and it was a big long line and there was a lot of fast talking. I had to make a very quick decision, and more importantly is I needed to be able to point to something. So I got this thing. It looks like there's some I don't know, marmalade or something, a little bit of chocolate in there, something in the middle. I'm sure it'll be fine. And because Easter's coming up, there's a lot of these things. So on an impulse, I got this cookie, which, it's going to be okay. Pastry of the day.